We all know at least one show that showed potential and quickly grew to become one of your personal favorites. The world building, plot, and well-written characters were set up perfectly in order to have multiple seasons and also keep this momentum going for several years. But before this one special show even had the chance to give us anything close to a satisfying payoff, or heck, even before it really had time to shine at all, that chance was snatched away, nipped in the bud, or simply put, the series was cancelled. It is a well-known fact that nothing hurts more than when you find out that your favorite cartoon is being treated unfairly. And us fans would do anything for our favorite franchises and characters. These money-hungry, white, cis-het boomer CEOs don't know what's coming to them. The animation community doesn't take any prisoners. And as someone who has been around long enough to witness so many promising shows cancellations for it to have lasting long-term negative effects on my psyche, I can say that this sort of thing unfortunately happens way too often. Shout out to Fluffy Jackie for suggesting this show. And while I'm at it, I also want to give a huge thank you to all the folks who replied to my community post and Instagram story. I got so many suggestions that I might just end up making a part 2 to this video. You guys are the best, thank you. We're starting things off with a real bummer, Infinity Train. The tragic tale surrounding this show is just as interesting as it is frustrating. But in order to understand what happened, we have to go back to the beginning. Wow, that's a real YouTuber thing to say. Back in the 2010s, Cartoon Network would upload a variety of pilots onto their YouTube channel. Depending on how well these cartoons would perform, there was a chance for these ideas to be picked up by the network and become a full show. Many of these pilots gained millions of views over the years, and even managed to form little fan bases around them. Videos such as Welcome to My Life or Trick Moon come to mind, for example. Some of these pilots were lucky enough to eventually get greenlit and be turned into a full show. 12 Forever is probably the best example besides, of course, Infinity Train. The pilot for this show was originally uploaded on November 2nd, 2016. Now this video quickly gained a lot of attention, and over time, arguably became Cartoon Network's most popular pilot ever. Even airing on TV a few months later.
Maybe we can escape out the door. How do I unlock it?
First, you put your paw on the handle.
Okay.
Then you turn it.
All right. That's how all doors open.
My people have been working on this technology for decades.
For years and years, we hoped and prayed that this promising project would be greenlit someday and turned into a full show. Incredibly, that's exactly what happened in March of 2018, when Cartoon Network released a teaser that confirmed that Infinity Train was in production and would air the following year, 2019. I was there for all of that, and I remember being just so extremely hyped for this show, as well as grateful that this amazing concept would be given the spotlight it deserved. On August 5th, 2019, it was officially time to board the Infinity Train. Now this show was presented as a miniseries, consisting of 10 episodes that would air from Monday to Friday of that week. Let me tell you, this show was amazing. I probably had one of the best weeks of my life, being treated to 2 new episodes every evening. And although I had to watch the entire season on a cracked phone screen, this did not take away at all from my enjoyment of Infinity Train. And if you thought that things couldn't get any better, after the 10th and last episode aired on Friday, they followed it up with a surprise reveal that a second season was already in production. And it would air only a few months from now. Now this was probably when Infinity Train was at its peak. Isn't it nice to see that this awesome show was treated with so much love and care from the network? And the fans sure seem to love this series. If Cartoon Network plays their cards right, they've surely got another big hit in their hands. Similar to Adventure Time or Steven Universe. Oh, but how the turntables. Season 2 continued where Tulip's story left off. Everything was going smoothly. The fans loved the new season just as much as the first one, and ended on a banger note too, tying up this season's main characters' stories perfectly, if I do say so myself, while also setting things up for the next season. Now this is where, arguably, the first crack started to show. We just had no way of knowing it back in the day. It was announced that the third season of Infinity Train would be released exclusively on the then new streaming platform HBO Max. This didn't mean anything bad for the show per se. Owen Dennis, Infinity Train's creator, even stated that the show was originally planned to air on HBO Max anyways, but due to the delay of the streaming platform's launch, the first 2 seasons aired on Cartoon Network instead. But then, seemingly out of the blue, during the airing of the show's third season, Owen Dennis revealed that Infinity Train was at risk of being cancelled. He told IO9 this in August of 2020, quote,
"Infinity Train could get picked up for more, but only if it gets a lot of views on HBO Max. If the show gets picked up for more, then I'd love to make more and hire back as many people as we could. If it doesn't, then I am but tears in the rain."
That was a real bummer that nobody saw coming. And this explanation didn't really make sense to me, because, if I remember correctly, Infinity Train was always one of the highest rated shows on the streaming platform. It had a huge fan base, and there were countless articles that praised the show's writing. At that time, the low ratings were the only answer that was given. Now, in a real monkey paw turn of events, the 4th season of Infinity Train was announced in February of 2021. Well, that's good news, isn't it? But sadly, it was also marketed as the last season of the show. Oh, boo! We don't like that! What the hell? But this would hardly be enough to bring the story of Infinity Train to a close, as Owen Dennis had stated before that he had rough outlines and ideas for stories up to a potential Season 8. He felt like that would have been a good point to wrap things up, because the number 8, quote, looks like an infinity symbol. Now another reason for Infinity Train's cancellation would be revealed after the show's final season premiered. Owen Dennis hosted a Reddit AMA about the show, in which he revealed that Book 5 would have been released as a movie, that we later learned would have focused on the character Amelia. Quote,
"We wrote an Infinity Train movie. It was Season 5. They passed on it though because they thought it didn't have a child entry point. The show is over and no one is working on making any more of it. I'd love to make more, but it's not what Cartoon Network wants to make right now. It is very unfortunate. However, maybe someday it'll change. Many shows have come back after they've been cancelled because of fan engagement, so anything is possible as long as fans exist."
And boy, those fans sure did exist. Following the cancellation of the show, all of the animation community joined forces to get the hashtag Infinity Train trending on every social media platform imaginable. The crew also gladly partook in these events, even organizing giveaways and sharing new art, among other things. I remember joining the event back in the day, and let me tell you, I have never seen a show getting this much attention ever before. There was more support for the series than I could ever have imagined. Everyone shared their art, animations, or even just thoughts about Infinity Train in order to get the hashtag #FinishInfinityTrain trending on Twitter. To paint a better picture of just how big this event was, I'll read this quote from the Infinity Train wiki page.
"Out of the several Twitter trends advocating for the show's renewal, hashtag #FinishInfinityTrain from April 29th, 2021 is the most prominent one. Creator of the show, Owen Dennis' avid participation in the fan event helped popularize and spread more awareness. Dennis offered prizes for a select few random participants, depending on what level the hashtag #FinishInfinityTrain reached. As a treat to everyone, a mock-up for Book 5 would be shared if the hashtag reached number 1 on trending. A few other companies and artists like the Stylophone company helped by adding more prizes into the pool. To everyone's amazement, hashtag #FinishInfinityTrain reached the top spot nearly immediately. The tag was already on trending before the event was supposed to start. It remained at number 1 on trending for half a day and reached over 300,000 tweets, beating, among other topics, the NFL draft and President Biden's joint session of Congress from the previous night. Because of the event, Infinity Train was trending on Tumblr as well.
And Owen Dennis would keep his promise that if Infinity Train would reach number 1 on trending, he would share a mock-up still of the cancelled movie. I would have given everything to see this. It's just such a shame that this never got made. To round off this entry, all I can say is that there is no good reason that Infinity Train was cancelled. Especially when you know that one of the main factors was that the show didn't have a child entry point. I mean, have you seen what happens in the series? It was never meant to be a kids show. Infinity Train was clearly aimed at teens and young adults. And to rub even more salt in the wound, currently there is no legal way of watching the show. That's right, as of August 18th, 2022, Infinity Train was removed on HBO Max. Without warning, mind you. Not even the crew was given notice. Shortly thereafter, the series was also pulled from the other streaming platforms, as well as video on demand, robbing anybody of a chance to ever experience Infinity Train again. Unless you travel the 7 seas, of course. But this really shouldn't be our only option for watching the show. And you know why HBO Max removed the show, as well as many others, seemingly overnight? Quote,
Following the Warner Bros. Discovery merger on August 17, 2022, an outside source confirmed that the streaming service will remove several of its most popular cartoons to avoid paying residuals to the creators.
Wow, just wow. It is very disheartening to see an amazing show like Infinity Train being treated this way by its network. After all the support, it still wasn't enough to save the show. Nothing stands between greedy studios and their money after all. But aside from all the BS surrounding the series cancellation, when I think back on the situation, I am also reminded of the incredible amount of love and support Infinity Train received. All the organized events, fan work, the amazing crew who worked on the show, how everyone bonded together in order to try to save this one very special series. It seems that at least for now, the Infinity Train has reached its final stop. There will never be another show like Infinity Train. And that's mainly because the studios in charge won't let us. Heyo, quick intermission! Don't worry, this is not an ad read. However, I would really appreciate if you would give this video a like and maybe even subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Making these videos is basically a full-time job for me. And this is how much money I have made on YouTube last month. Yeah, I know. So it would really mean the world to me if you share this video, or interact with it at all. This helps so that my hyperfixation ramblings get recommended to even more people. Please help the Toonation grow. Of course, only if you feel like it, no pressure. Thanks for listening.
Give me your fucking money!
Inside Job is an animated adult sitcom made by Shion Takeuchi. Now you might recognize this name, as she had previously been a writer on Gravity Falls, but Takeuchi has done a lot more than that during her career, as she has also been involved with a whole bunch of other animated productions such as Regular Show, Monsters University, Inside Out, as well as Disenchantment. To sum it up, Shion Takeuchi is incredibly talented and has quite the track record. And Netflix must have recognized her potential back in 2018, as she would sign a multi-project deal with a streaming platform that year. One of the shows that was produced as part of this partnership would be Inside Job.
Reagan, I'd like to see you in my office.
Ha! Suck my dick!
Which was announced in 2019 and came out on the 22nd of October 2021. Now, Inside Job is about Reagan Ridley. She works for the shadow government's secret branch called Cognito. The organization is all about covering up, let's say, unusual happenings. From conspiracy theories to aliens, all the way up to government cover-ups. That's basically what Cognito does. Inside Job follows Reagan and the other cast of wacky characters, giving us a glimpse of how the world is actually run. It's a really fun show, and I must say that I enjoyed it quite a lot. And many other people thought similarly, as Inside Job was quite the popular show. It received a lot of praise for its witty writing, tackling the crazy world of conspiracy theories with clever jokes.
You ever seen Akira?
Of course I've seen Akira! Anime is very mainstream right now!
Reagan is a really interesting character, and I loved watching her trying to make it in a world that is seemingly working against her. It was definitely one of the better adult animated shows, especially on Netflix. Now, Netflix has blessed us with countless incredible shows over time, that is true, but, and that's the biggest but imaginable.
Look at them
The streaming site is also notorious for canceling these exact same cool shows after just one season. Now, to be fair, that doesn't just happen to animated series on the platform. Some of the most hard-hitting cancellations were live-action shows. But Netflix has also made their stance on original animated content clear. And boy, the situation is grim. In fact, quite the opposite of hunky-dory. More like hunky-darla. But things were looking good for Inside Job, as the show had seemingly already been out of the woods when it came to being cancelled after just one season. So the second part of the first season released on November 18th, 2022. At that point, the second season had already been announced in the summer of the same year, and was actively being worked on by the crew. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, Chase Mitchell, a writer for Inside Job, made these tweets on January 6th of 2023.
I hate posts like this, but our show got cancelled on Friday. I got the job and wrote 4 episodes of animated TV because the showrunner found me on here. Before that, I wrote 10 years of late night because someone found me on here too. I'm really freaking good at what I do. Hit me up. I don't know if I was allowed to say this, but honestly, that streamer does not care about animation anymore, so who gives a crap?
He deleted these tweets shortly after. This came as a shock to everyone in the community, as the first season had ended on a massive cliffhanger, and the show had been renewed for a second season already, for freak's sake! What in the world compelled Netflix to reverse their decision? It just didn't make any sense! A few days after Mitchell had made his tweets, Inside Job's creator Shion Takeuchi confirmed that the show's production wouldn't continue forward. Quote,
I'm heartbroken to confirm that Netflix has decided to cancel season 2 of Inside Job. Over the years, these characters have become real people to me, and I am devastated not to be able to watch them grow up. Reagan and Brett deserve to get their ending and finally find happiness. And I would have loved to be able to share what was in store with you all. To everyone who watched, thank you for coming along on the ride.
Just sad, man. Feels awful. Guess we'll never know what the writers had cooking for the second season of Inside Job. And that's a real shame. For this next entry, I have enlisted the help of fellow YouTuber KingMunch. They will be talking about a show that is very near and dear to their heart. With that being said, KingMunch, the stage is all yours.
Hey guys, KingMunch here to talk about one of the canceled animated shows that really crushed my heart when it comes to the cancellation being unnoticed. And that's no other than Mao Mao, Heroes of Pure Heart. Mao Mao, Heroes of Pure Heart originated as a YouTube teaser called I Love You Mao Mao, posted on the creator of the show, Parker Simmons' YouTube channel with the name Parker Simmons Animations, and was posted on the day February 22nd, 2014, which is also stating that the video will be 10 years old depending on when this YouTube video is released. One thing that I find so amazing is that the original voice actors from the teaser are the exact same for the original show that released on Cartoon Network. And comparing the two, they actually sound no different, which is also pretty cool to notice. Mao Mao, Heroes of Pure Heart is pretty much a show about an adventurous cat and his best friend Badgerclops who end up getting stuck in the Heart Valley, having to fight very powerful foes to protect those in need, alongside of a very cute and adorable blue colored bat named Adorabat.
I don't have a driver's license?
Because her dreams is to become a hero too, just like Mao Mao, and do cool stuff alongside them. Adorabat is one of those characters that I end up loving so much in my high school years of still loving cartoons, because it was so out of the ordinary for a cute and adorable character to want to fight evil and also go on big dangerous adventures. Unless you count Webby from the DuckTales reboot, but come on, she's clearly isn't a cute Adorabat. Anyway, Mao Mao was renewed for a second season on July 23rd, 2020, but never seen the light of day. And not only months later, on January 1st, 2021, the show has been added to the HBO streaming service and then was wiped away along other amazing shows on the platform on August 18th, due to the merging of Warner Brothers Discovery. And what makes it so much worse is that the fans of the show are just waiting for a canceled show to come back that hasn't been announced becoming canceled by the network nor the creator. But it's clearly obvious that it did. Me personally, I believe the show in some way was going to be renewed on HBO Max instead of Cartoon Network because it wouldn't be the first time they ever did that. As a clear example, Infinity Train is one of those shows that have been transferred to HBO Max. And it makes me mad that they're trying to hide it like we wasn't there to see these shows at all. Then it just feels like we can't even get good shows at all in the first place, even if it gets good praise like our hero, Mao Mao. One quick fun fact I would like to say about the creator of the show is that he's actually still using the character of the show to this day. The video he recently posted was a video of Mao Mao getting sturdy, which was actually really cool and kinda funny. And he uploaded this YouTube short on January 16th, 2024. And honestly, I feel really good about that. At least he gets the chance to animate his character and upload it on his channel, even when it's in the Cartoon Network style. So, do I think the show ever come back for a season 2? No, I don't. And even if we get a season 2, it will be nothing but a miracle, and I'll be down for every step of the way if that comes true. Before I go, I would love to thank Toonatic for this amazing opportunity for being on their channel. And I would love to come back some other time for more amazing videos yet to come. Thank you guys, and KingMunch out. Peace.
Thank you for the insight into the history of Mao Mao. Please check out KingMunch on YouTube. The link to their channel will be in the description down below. And you should really consider subscribing to KingMunch, as they post videos about animated media just like I do, but also about other nostalgic topics. Good stuff. There will also be a collab coming out featuring yours truly on KingMunch's channel soon, so keep an eye out for that too. With that being said, let us continue with the salt. Dead End Paranormal Park was one of the first shows I thought of when coming up with entries for this video, but I also have to give a shout out to Follow the Cat 893, who thought Dead End also deserved a lot better. Like I said, Inside Job wasn't the only animated series that was done dirty by Netflix. And the following show is just another sad example of the streaming platform canceling promising projects for no apparent reason. This is the story of Dead End. Now, Dead End started out as an animated short on the Frederator Studios Cartoon Hangover YouTube channel. Whew, that was a mouthful. The web short was created by Hamish Steele and uploaded in June of 2014. The cast of characters featured should look familiar to anybody who has seen the Netflix show. And although the art style is quite different, Barney, Norma, and Pugsley are all there.
We killed her.
Yeah, she was dumb. She deserved it.
But we're murderers.
From here, Hamish Steele would continue his story in comic form. Dead Endia, as it was called, was first released as a webcomic. The stories were later compiled and reworked into a physical release with updated art and minor plot point changes. Now, the Netflix show was released on June 16th, 2022. Hey, that's my birthday! And while some plot points were adapted from the comic and the web short, it was far from just a quote, word-for-word retelling of the original source material. Dead End was a banger show, having amazing characters, a gripping premise, as well as great representation. The character Norma, for example, is on the autism spectrum, and this is handled in a fantastic way in the show, in my humble opinion.
And what is the opposite of trust?
Mistrust.
It's fear.
No, it's definitely mistrust.
But I also have to give a shout out to the LGBTQIA+ representation in Dead End. Really great stuff. For example, the main character Barney is a gay trans man. There's a non-binary ghost, and without spoiling too much, another one of the main cast also has a great arc about coming out and acceptance.
Gotcha. I'm sorry you're straight. No.
Of course, I also have to mention the one and only, the legend, Pauline Phoenix, a celebrity actress and former idol of Norma. She is the one the Phoenix Park is named after. Pauline is voiced by drag queen Miss Coco Peru. According to Hamish Steele, Dead End wasn't censored in any way when it comes to depicting queer stuff. Quote,
That said, there has been absolutely no pushback from Netflix about representation. I think it was actually a key reason they wanted it.
Which is great if true. He goes on to mention that it has become a lot easier to pitch stories about LGBTQIA+ characters to different networks in the last couple of years. With that being said, seemingly nothing could stop Dead End. The first season had just been released in the summer of 2022, and amazingly, the second season would premiere only a few months later on October 14th of the same year. The perfect show to watch during spoopy season. Dead End is definitely one of my favorite animated series. I especially enjoyed the musical episode from season 1. I still listen to the songs all the time. They are definitely a certified bop in my opinion. Season 2 was very plot heavy, with many awesome twists and revelations. Now, the status quo that the series had established was flipped completely on its head and left us hanging on a huge cliffhanger, eager for more. Unfortunately, you're watching a video about cancelled animated shows right now. And sadly, Dead End was just another one of the countless victims of Netflix. As you know by now, they just love killing off promising series without any reason. Dead End Paranormal Park was cancelled on January 13th, 2023. Well, at least this is when the fans learned the devastating news. Hamish Steele posted a heartfelt statement on Twitter, in which he stated that the crew had already started working on season 3 before the show was cancelled, and also that they had done everything to try to prevent this from happening. But sadly, all this effort wasn't enough to save Dead End. Well, at least on Netflix. Luckily, there is still a little ray of hope for Dead End. One might say, this wasn't a dead end for Dead End, am I right? Haha. As there's actually a new comic releasing later this year on April 23rd, 2024. Dead Endia 3, The Divine Order will manage to bring us fans some closure, as the book will loosely continue the story of Barney, Norma, Pugsley, and Courtney. I've already pre-ordered my copy, and if you are a fan of the show and have the means to support this franchise, Dead Endia is definitely a must-read. I am glad that Hamish Steele is able to continue to tell his story in another way, despite the fact that his show was cancelled on Netflix. Working on this video has made me really upset at times, not gonna lie. All the anger I felt when these amazing shows were cancelled came flooding back. It just seems so unfair towards the fans and especially the creators. So much love and work was put into these shows, and they were robbed of the chance to tell their whole story and really shine. I wish all the creators and people who worked on these amazing shows the best and good luck for their future project/endeavors. I can see why this situation could be disheartening to people who plan or are already working in the industry. Luckily, this isn't always the outcome. Even if a show is cancelled prematurely, sometimes the creators are informed ahead of time. Still early enough in production to be able to sort of tie loose ends together somehow. And have at least some sort of decent send-up for these characters. Steven Universe as well as the Owl House come to mind. And even a series where seemingly all hope has been lost, as it has been cancelled many years ago, can make a comeback, thanks to streaming platforms or TV networks looking for new content. Clone High Season 2, Samurai Jack Season 5, Invader Zim Enter the Florpus, and Rocko's Modern Life Static Cling are prime examples. Even though these continuations aren't everyone's cup of tea, most can agree that it was at least cool to see these characters return after so many years. If there's anything to take away from this, it would be that being vocal and supporting shows can turn things around, even a long time after these shows were cancelled. If the people in charge are made aware that there is still demand for certain IPs, they might just consider giving these productions a second chance. Whether that would be in form of a new season, a movie, or even a graphic novel, doesn't really matter in my opinion, as long as these amazing stories get the chance to be told at all. And once again, a huge thank you goes out to KingMunch for helping me with this video. Please check out their channel in the description down below. Thanks for watching, my name is Toonatic the Lunatic Toonatic, and please like and subscribe for more videos like this. Bye!